Good.
How are you?
So just one welcome, just
Thank
one
you.
minute, just to explain to our audience that with COVID, we cannot pass you the microphone. So if you need to ask questions, you have a link and a code there, and you can use your phone to send a question to me, and I will see it here. Okay? Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
In Sheffield.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm in San Sebastian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your film. It's a very beautiful film.
Thank you very much for having it as part of the festival. I'm really happy.
It's a pleasure. It's a beautiful film about filming memory and filming testimony, and very delicate.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start by asking you how you met your protagonist, basically, and how you met her, and then what was your process when you were thinking about how you could tell her story? Because your form and the way you build your narrative is very particular. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about that beginning of the film, that beginning of the process.
The starting point of this project of the film, it was based on a research that I did in an archive. Since 2007, there's an archive in the French part of the Basque Country where I live that is dedicated to oral memory. So since 2007, they've been making many interviews to the people in the area, that it's an area, as I say, it's France, but they speak in Basque. As you could see in my film. And I went there and I was really curious to know about different kind of experiences related to cinema in the people of that area. So when I went to the archive, I was interested in that, in cinema and how cinema appears in those interviews. And then was when the people in the archive showed me the interview they made to Mamayi Jaunarena. And I was so surprised to listen to her words, because it's just such a specific description of the images that she saw when she went to the cinema to watch that film, that I was really surprised to see that power of images and cinema. And at the same time, for me, it was really interesting. I think that the words are really powerful in cinema in general. That's one of the working lines that I'm working in my cinema. And I was really interested to try to transmit somehow that memory, not with images, but with words that somehow change to images in the mind of the spectator, more or less. So that was the beginning of the project. And then maybe I didn't have a super clear idea about how to manage all the layers that appear in the film, because my way of working, it's more to propose a shooting more based in different exercises, and then I make the decisions in the editing room.
So the moments we see that there are moments when you were trying to do some sort of playful exercises with her.
Yes.
But there are also moments where you are focused on building narrative hooks and narrative strategies to relay the story with multiple voices, which is very beautiful, because the history of immigration is a collective history, and many times an anonymous history, right?
Totally.
So how was the process? So the moments you built with her, did you decide together what they would be? How was that negotiation going on?
When I went to visit Mamayi for the first time, I proposed her that I wanted to make a film with her, and she agreed from the beginning. And it was a beautiful surprise because her granddaughter was with her in that day that I visited her. And it was just from the beginning, I knew that I wanted the granddaughter to be in the film as well. And I proposed that to her, and she agreed immediately also. So the different exercises, I mean, first we did in the shooting was I made a long interview to her. Again, it's a material that finally it's not in the film at all, but somehow that's my way to build some kind of confidence with the people that I work with, because I think that if you firstly propose like joyful exercises, maybe somebody that have never been in a film, it's a little bit weird because I mean it's kind of a game, and I thought that maybe people needs to talk about everything they want because maybe they think that a film is that, right, to tell everything that they want to tell. And once we shot that, I think that there was the confidence between us to begin other kind of exercises. So for me, it's really important. Maybe in this time, I didn't think about the exercises with her, but for me, it's always really important to create a really good atmosphere and based on confidence. I mean, for me, that's super important when I work with people in my films.
And there is a moment when a woman is reading to a microphone in a space. She's reading letters. Who is that woman? Is she the granddaughter?
Yeah,
Or...
that's it. She's the
Okay.
granddaughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
and
had
it's something that it's not super explicit in the film. I didn't think it was necessary to have that
of
information.
course.
But at the same time, it's true that the multiple voices that you mentioned, in this way, there's also like two generations talking with each other. I mean, this transmission of memory from one generation to the other, that's something. And then there's another idea that I don't know if you could feel it watching the film or not, but that Mamayi was the age her granddaughter is right now when she decided she wanted to go to the States. So that reflection of having her granddaughter reading her own words, I thought it was beautiful also to think that maybe that woman was the old woman in the past.
Of
Yeah.
course. Give me just 1 second because I have one question.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that is a beautiful thing, because when you talk about oral history and an archive of oral history, it's the question in your film is also about women history,
Yeah.
right? And women who were going to do the job, the supposedly unskilled job, which was to take care of other people's children and houses and clean their intimates lives and objects, etc.
Yeah.
And the number of women immigrants from the north of Spain, and France, the Basque Country, from Galicia, etc., that went abroad, and from many other countries, and whose stories have not been told. And what I find really interesting in your film, also in the editing, is that your film is very fragmentary, right? You never start in A and go to Z. You give us small glimpses of history.
Yeah.
And I found that really beautiful, because that is generationally, that is how the stories of so many women exist today. It's small fragments, sometimes one picture or even not that, right?
Totally.
So I wanted to know if you are exploring this more in future works, if this is something that for you, you want to explore more in your cinema. This question of there are the big histories, right? That have a continuous narrative that you follow from one point to the other. Usually they are all portrayed as heroes, and then there are the fragmentary histories that we have to dig and really make an effort to actually see, because they are usually invisible.
Yeah, it's something that I'm working on. Maybe not just, I mean, I made another short film. I had another short film. In that case, it was the history about a woman that was addicted to heroin in the 80s. That it's like a really big history in the north of Spain. And for me, it's not just about the invisible histories. It's also to rewrite history and histories in plural, as you said. So it's true that I think that instinctively I'm always more interested in women, but what I like, it's not just to try to find invisible histories, but is to tell in another way the histories that we are used to listen. So it's to change the narrative. And maybe it's connected to that fragmentation, because I totally agree that there's not one big history, right? Because we always listen to the same one big history with a hero, probably. And what I like is to tell in another ways, through other voices, the history that we are used to listen to. So yes, it's one of my working lines in the cinema I want to do.
Great. Thank you so much, Lourdes.
Thank
Muchas
you.
gracias.
Muchas gracias a
I
ti,
hope
Cynthia.
we can
meet one day, yeah.
Yeah, and that we can welcome you here in Sheffield.
Yeah, it would be a pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a great festival there.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.